All right, welcome back to Ozzy and Keats. It's another episode. We're not great. We're just okay. And again, we appreciate the sponsorship of Belle Tire as we've undertaken this goofy adventure. I still can't believe we've got a few of these in a row.
What is it now? I don't even know.
It's too many. I think too many is probably the
too many already.
Answer. Yeah,
there'll be more to come. This is just a start, you know.
Oh, dear God!
Like the new stage of your life that's about to come. Just a start.
How much will you miss me?
At times when not.
Just answer. You couldn't even answer the question.
Other times when we're on downtown.
Yeah.
You're talking about doing games, or when I meet you in the afternoon.
Just seeing each other on a somewhat regular basis.
Well, it's not like you're gone. You're
I'm not.
You're only
I'm
going to
not
be
in,
2.5
in a
hours
coffin.
away.
Yeah, right. So
because you never like when I reveal your location, which I did once, and I received a lecture about that. So now I can't mention where you are. So I don't.
Well, you told the world where I was. I mean, I'm not sure that's the best idea for anybody. So
I'll miss the jokes on TV, all the kind of when we're doing our hockey, but it's kind of like I call it a variety show because it's the game, but integrated with a bunch of other stuff, which we kind of organically developed that over time.
Yeah.
In some weird way.
Now,
it accumulated with the first joke ever, which was, by the way, my favorite ever, the Dixie Chicks joke, which we're not going to say.
It was a different time. We can't go there now.
The delivery was fantastic.
Yeah. But at that point, you started laughing, and I had your attention from that point forward. And now they're referred to as dad jokes, which kind of hurts my heart a little bit because I think it's spectacular, humorous writing. Others,
it's retro.
Yeah. Others say they're awful dad jokes.
Well, there's a lot of 80s bands you've mentioned, even 90s. You've slipped into the 90s.
But that's
sometimes.
for you because you're consumed by what happened in the 80s.
You haven't mentioned like Belle, Biv DeVoe. You haven't mentioned them, but you've mentioned a lot like
Nobody's
that.
mentioned Belle Biv DeVoe in decades.
You've mentioned Barry Manilow, which I've loved that.
The reference was the standings are tighter than Barry Manilow's face. And that got you.
Oh,
that got you.
Because it's so true. It's way too much work. And we love Barry Manilow.
Yes. Who's coming back to
He's coming
town.
back to town.
I know. Yeah.
And there's good crowds for that as well, which, wow. So, and then my other favorite, you've had a few that were great. The Dolly Parton one was great, which obviously cascaded into another segment of our show that we called the pre and post game show for the Red Wings.
Well, let's all right. You brought it up. Let's talk about how Dolly Parton has ingrained herself, and she's not even aware of this, into the pre and post game coverage because Mickey Redmond is a big country music fan.
Yes,
and so so we tried for weeks to try to get Dolly to do something. Yeah, I'm using my hands. I shouldn't be using my hands. We tried to get Dolly to tape something for Mickey. It might have been his birthday or something like that, unsuccessfully. But then you had a friend who was able to combine pictures.
Yes.
And so basically we made a prom picture of Mickey Redmond and Dolly Parton.
And we went as far to try and get a Dolly Parton impersonator.
We did.
Yeah, we were trying everything. So this is what we do while we're doing the Red Wings, which is supposed to be
game over
the most important thing.
Most of our focus is going somewhere else.
We're trying to get a hold of Dolly Parton, which why not after that Super Bowl halftime show. But Mickey, did he see?
That's what it was. Yeah, it was a Super. She was on the Super Bowl, right?
But Mickey had. He went to see her at the Forum, wasn't it, in Los Angeles?
I believe
Am I right by that?
I believe
and that's how we kind of got into it. And when we mentioned Dolly Parton, it piqued his interest. Then we kind of went down the rabbit hole of he loved Dolly Parton growing up, correct?
Right.
And now the picture is not framed, hanging so nicely in my shack above, on the opposite side of the fireplace, above both pictures, the 97 Stanley Cup championship picture and the 98.
So Dolly and Mickey are above that picture?
Dolly and Mickey are above the 2 Stanley Cup championship pictures.
Well, and the rest of that story is I took the picture to a graphics place not far from where we live, and I'm explaining it to the very nice man who happened to be a hockey fan. what we were trying to do, and he thought that was about the greatest thing ever and did a terrific job in blowing up this picture so we could show it when we did the outdoor
game,
shack pregame and postgame show.
It was absolutely as absolute as you would say gold, and it actually went a lot farther and better than we thought. And so the folks realized this is what we. John drives around looking for how he can blow up pictures of Dolly Parton, Mickey. I'm trying to find out stuff to ask Mickey. Then we get to the Red Wings stuff. So it's
and we actually began this past hockey season by trying to come up with the female stars that we could also include in a prom picture with Mickey Redmond. It didn't go anywhere. Probably to the great delight of women who lived through the were in our consciousness in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, thank goodness where that would have went. But it was a great idea at the time. I don't know how well it went over.
We have a lot of those. We have great ideas that either peter out or we think better of them and decide not to go anywhere.
Thinking better of them has probably saved us a few times.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how they would have went over on our first and foremost hockey show that we're doing.
I know. There are some things that we get into a commercial and we look at each other and say, "Yeah, I'm not sure we should have done that. That might not have been our best, our best."
Yeah, but we now that we've moved our set to the concourse, we get enough entertainment there.
Yeah,
there's a lot going on.
That's
what we'll say. It's we're doing the show, but it's also a meet and greet, photos. A lot of people coming up and talking to you, especially now that you're retiring.
Sure, they're saying very nice things.
Yes, they are.
And you have a lot of people who come by with Osgood jerseys for you to sign.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to tell
ahead.
the story?
If you want to tell the story, go ahead.
You mean like when I had that great night down at the LCA?
Yeah.
In Light the Lamp. I don't know if I want to mention the rest of it.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right.
Well, what are you saying when I saw somebody?
It was a very nice woman who made a great effort to have
when
you
her
sign
shirt came off.
Yeah.
You mean the jersey came off?
The jersey came off,
and our stage is what, probably 4 feet? No, that's too high. 3 feet taller than. So I'm looking down.
That's all. We don't need to go any further than that. But it was it was a treat for her.
It was a treat
to
for
meet
her for
you.
Sure.
So yeah. All right. That's a good
See,
place.
now you're knowing what I was going to say, so you start laughing.
That's a good place to take a break. We will continue.
It rhymes with ripple.
After this. We'll be back after this from Belle Tire. Hey, Belle Tire is changing tires and changing the tire game with the lowest tire prices, free flat repairs, tire rotations, and alignment checks. And they're not just changing tires. For decades, the Belle Tire Hockey Club has helped young athletes develop their skills, chase their dreams, and even reach the NHL. Stop by or go to belletire.com to see how they're different. Okay. Oh, dear God. Ozzy and Keats continues. Thanks to the people at Belle Tire for putting up with us. We've caught our breath and toweled off after the first segment. I thought I would throw some never have I ever questions to you. It's, again, something that I think everybody sort of checks off the list of things that they have done or things that they will never do or things that they have not done yet. Some of these are easy. Of course, you see these all over social media. Never have I ever eaten food that fell on the floor.
I've done that. I did it last year. In fact, in Quebec at my son's Pee Wee tournament to the delight of the young
arena? In a
hotel lobby. I believe now it was some type of I think it was a mini donut or something. And
was it the 5-second rule or was it just sitting
it was there for a while? And they're all talking. It was there. Nobody's picking it up. And my OCD kicks in because I hate stuff that's on the floor. It looks a mess. I cruised by, picked it up, and threw it right in the lips, and people were disgusted by it.
Of course they were, because that's awful. I mean, you don't know who else's lips were on it before they threw it on the.
I look at it this way: like when you remember back when you were younger, you're drinking out of a Coke or whatever in a bottle. You try it, I try it, somebody else will try it. Like it was okay then. And when we had the cup of Chelly's, how many people's lips hit that
Well,
cup?
yeah, the Stanley Cup is, I mean, that's an all-timer, right? I mean,
there's been way worse that have touched these lips. That's what I'll say.
Jeez. How gross is it drinking out of the Stanley Cup?
No,
or
never.
is it
It's not even close.
Yeah.
It's
But
never
you're aware of all the backwash that's in there and the beer and the champagne mixture. And
I remember there's actually news on one of the TV's stations, a segment on how you can get sick from drinking out of the cup.
Oh man!
And how it could.
Well, sure. I guess if
I mean, but like it's how can't you, right? I mean, that's how I looked at it. I mean, even think if you take it a step farther, right after the game in the dressing room, right? Like really,
do you remember what that moment was like when when it was your turn and somebody lifted the cup and you could drink the first beer out of the Stanley Cup?
It was the best ever.
Yeah.
And then like my mom's in there, or my friends are in there, or there's tons of people in there. But think of this for a second. Put this in perspective. Guys wearing hockey gloves, which are probably
gross.
The most. If all the pieces of equipment a player wears, it's the bacteria in your gloves because you really can't dry them. They have better ways of doing it now, but touching the lip of the cup, right? So that's how you lift it and pour it into somebody. So I think everybody's hands touching the rim, right?
But you don't care. You don't care. Right?
So essentially, it would be like me sticking my hand out and you're licking my hand. Would you do that?
Why?
Would you? But like,
no, I wouldn't do that.
No. I mean, I remember taking a Chelly's on the bar and right down the bar and then back down, and people were all in there, and other people would come in, and it was awesome and it was great. And not for a second were you thinking that. And I would think after you've seen that segment on the news, it didn't change your perspective of like, no, hold on for a second. If I could possibly get a cold or something worse. You know, you grew up in the 70s and the 80s, and but you're not.
I got through the 70s,
but you're not going to drink out of it. It's like things that you would never not do. Yeah. That's what you would never not do, no matter what the repercussions. Correct?
I mean, and it's one thing for the players who earned it to do it, but it's also something out of this world for a Red Wings fan to be able to drink out of the Stanley Cup after you guys had won the, so if you're taking it to Chelly's, I mean, that's a moment that those people will treasure forever.
Yeah, we took it everywhere. I remember it took it to,
and you wanted other people.
Yeah, we wanted other people too. Well, and back then, I mean, it's a lot different now for the players, social media, cameras. Then there wasn't any. I remember we'd be like bartending at bars, and people would be hanging out. We'd be mixing drinks and hanging out.
Sure.
We'll say so. It
meeting
was
people, being
so
friendly.
You're with the public way more than I would think they are now, or I guess. But it was great. I remember we went we had the cup at like this bar called Wild Woodies. We had it at Sean O'Callahan's in Plymouth. Dick O'Dowd's for sure was there in Birmingham.
Sure.
Fifth Avenue.
The Post in.
Oh, I remember we had at the Post downtown, that little bar, and the lineup was like all the way around.
Right.
It was around the block, John, like up the hill there. Was that Cass or something? And I remember looking at this, and I remember we had at the Post also in Ferndale, because that was the second one. I remember there was like helicopters going over, but it was awesome celebrating with the fans.
Yeah,
it was, and remember we'd be like right in with all the people, and people would be pouring beer in it and serving it to everybody. It was great. I mean, those are the things like when it's that, the parade, all that stuff is really, really cool stuff. I still have people come up to me and say, I remember that time you had the cup, and because my memory's so good, absolutely, I remember that exact same time. I'd say Sean O'Callahan's, we drank out of the cup. Like it's cool that years later that would be a moment in somebody's life that they remember.
Absolutely,
so stuff like that's really memorable.
And it's almost it's too bad that in this instance that people didn't have cameras on their phones so they could take those.
There really wasn't.
All you were doing was enjoying the moment. It wasn't something that you had to get as a picture on your phone to immediately put on social media.
I do have pictures because the photographer Dave Regenik for the Wings was kind of following us, and we were up in the roof, and he was great. And there's some awesome pictures at Chelly's from above. and all the people are there, and it's like a wave of people. And I think it was Chelly was on the bar with the cup, and maybe Nick was on the bar.
How about that?
Think of that.
Nick Lidstrom, yeah.
Oh, the perfect human.
Right.
He's on the bar drinking
Yeah.
and serving beer to people.
Well, you've hijacked the Never Have I Ever.
Yes, again.
Once again. Let's do this. We'll take one more break after this from Belle Tire. We'll see if we can rattle through a few more of these. Ozzy and Keats rolls on. Big thanks to Belle Tire here for supporting this podcast and for always putting the customer first. Whether it's offering the lowest tire prices, getting you in and out faster, or making tire buying and auto care easier, Belle Tire is changing tires and changing the experience for the better. Stop by Belle Tire or visit belletire.com to see the difference for yourself. All right, we're back, and let's see if we can rattle through a few more of these Never Have I Ever as Ozzy and Keats rolls on your YouTube airwaves and wherever you get your podcasts. Broken a bone. Have you ever broken a bone?
I've been fortunate, just in my hands from getting hit by shots. Al McInnes broke my hand. A bone in my hand on my blocker site would be my right. And it was a long shot.
Al McInnes had just the absolute most thunderous shot. I know he did.
He took it, hit, and it immediately burned as if you were putting a cigarette out on my hand. You know what I mean? Because people used to
like
do that.
the idea of that.
Yeah.
I might take up smoking just so I can do that.
You never smoked before?
I never did.
Really? You're lucky because right in that area.
I mean, did I puff on a cigarette a time or two to know that I didn't?
After you hit for the cycle in the Grand Rapids Softball League, sitting outside, you pop the trunk of the Mercury Cougar, 24 cold bush lights in there and a pack of cigarettes.
The El Camino. Yeah,
tell everybody how great you are. MVP of the softball weekend.
Bad mustache, the Ron Burgundy mustache.
Girls rollerblading everywhere around you.
Rollerblading. All right. Have you been skydiving?
Never.
Would you?
Never. I'm scared of heights. I can't even imagine that. I always revert back to the Cheers episode when they were going to go skydiving, and it ends up that Sam Malone ends up not going because they're in a fight with the other guy that had the bar. I can't remember the bar. It's a short name.
Yeah, it's is it Larry's?
Larry's
something
or,
like that.
Or it's okay. It's they're having a fight, so they had to go up there with a banner, and that episode, amongst other things, has never ever made me even think about doing that.
Yeah. Okay. I know you've ridden in a limo.
Yes. Have I?
Yeah.
Yes. I never liked it. Because I'm small town, I don't like to really get noticed, and it pulls up to the front, and you get out of the car, and everybody's looking at you. Then you walk in, and then you're, some people are like, oh, that's great. Other people are like,
when you went to the Tonight Show.
Hey, you're an ass. You're getting ahead of everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like when you're at Disney, the same thing happens. You get that fast pass,
right?
But then you feel bad still, even though you have the fast pass.
But I would guess you're sort of torn because, I'm in front of you. And then maybe I should say I feel bad about it, but mostly I'm in front of you, and that makes me happy.
Yeah. No, I felt bad. I did.
When you took the Stanley Cup to the Tonight Show, that had to be filled with limos,
cool.
Right? I mean, limo everywhere.
Yeah, we had a car that took us around there. We had to go on the Carson Daly show.
Okay.
Back when he had his show, Jay Leno. But
who were the other guests on the Tonight Show when you were there that night?
Justin Timberlake was the only other one.
Really?
Yeah, and a band that's really popular, but I can't remember. But maybe I'll remember on one of our shows along the line. Okay. But my wife was there. She was more enamored by than me. I'm like, where's Jenna? Like, because you get your dressing room, little stars. Kind of cool. Nick and I are in there. Jenna's in with the band. And she's looking for Justin Timberlake because she loves Justin Timberlake. Of course. Yeah. We actually have a picture. So you have to go through the rehearsal, and it always changes. And Jay Leno goes, can you guys dance? I'm like, well, I know Nick can't dance. And once again, he's a perfect human, right? So he can't dance. So, and he looks at me, I go, I am Canadian from Western Canada.
They wanted you to dance behind Justin Timberlake?
The last time I danced any song, it was Total Eclipse of the Heart at my high school dance. Where I want to know what love is, whatever that is. So you know what I'm saying. There's slow songs, because why are you dancing to a fast song? Fast songs are boring. Or Billy Idol, one of those.
I will share this with you. I'm dancing at my daughter's wedding.
Yeah.
and I had to stop myself because I was dancing like Donald Trump. And I realized I was dancing with Donald Trump, and I stopped myself and skedaddled right off the dance floor. I know.
That's what happens when you're drinking.
I know.
You're out there, and then all of a sudden it clicks in. You realize you're the center of attention.
All right. Have you gotten a tattoo?
No, I have not. I'm.
But you shared with me
I have nothing
that
you
wanted to get a lower back tattoo.
Yes.
You had the idea,
But a fake
of
one.
getting
As a joke.
a tramp stamp, basically.
As a joke, as a temporary one, is that what they call them, right?
Henna, right?
And on my lower back, and then when I go home for the summer, it would say Jenna on my lower back, and I'd walk down the dock with it on there, and my girls, everybody would be freaked out about it, thinking that it was a real tattoo. And I still might do that, in fact.
Have you shared that with them yet?
No,
or is this just
rolling
around in your own
just
head?
rolling around in my own
Well, I'm
head.
sure they'll be big fans of the podcast, and so the secret will
Oh, will
probably
they
be out
ever?
after,
Oh, boy.
after this. Have you ridden a horse?
Yes, I have. Medicine, Alberta, town just outside called Redcliffe. People can Google that too if they'd like. It's a small town. I used to golf there all the time. My friends had farms. Went horse riding. I was not good. The horse was parched, just like I was. I was 18, so you can drink in Alberta at 18. Went into the pond and tilted. So when they, obviously when they drink, the head goes down.
Right.
I was going to slide off the front into the freaking water, and I'm yelling at my friend. He doesn't care because he's trotting around doing whatever he's doing. I've never,
You got a thirsty horse.
Like I'm thinking nowadays, if you go, okay, I'm going to ride a horse, you might take a lesson before or actually have people around.
Right.
Oh, no, me and my friend, we're just going to get on the horse.
Right.
No saddle, no nothing. Probably a horrible idea.
Bareback.
Yeah, bareback. Okay. I was on the horse, bareback, and it almost didn't turn out good. So yes, I have ridden a horse.
Would it surprise you to know that I've ridden a rodeo bull?
Really? Yes.
I did bull riding in
Have
Colorado.
you watched that? Tell me about this, because I was like, wow.
It was. I think it was an older bull that I was riding. His name was. I mean, they had bulls that were named Tornado and Cyclone.
Yeah.
My bull was named Spot.
So he stayed in one spot.
Almost dead. But I stayed on the bull for, I think, 3.8 seconds. And
Really?
it was a
But
TV.
still, how big is that when you're
It
sitting
was,
on it?
yeah.
Oh
I
my
mean,
gosh.
it was, and it was. We did it as a TV feature, and of course, it was part of the sports challenge back in the day. But you're landing on dirt that's been sort of chopped up, so it's going to be softer. But it's still when you land, it's a wake up.
That now is one of my favorite sports to watch in the summer. Calgary Stampede, it's on the bull riding. And I'm like, remember they used to not wear helmets when they did it. Now they actually have helmets that are more protective.
Sure.
The injuries those guys get are unbelievable, because my friends and I will talk, and some of my friends know these guys from Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
I'm just like, these bulls are so powerful.
Would you do that?
I've never done it.
If somebody gave you the chance to do it for 3.8
Is
seconds
Spot
or
still
whatever
alive?
it is?
Is Spot still alive?
I don't think Spot's with us anymore.
Okay, then perfect. He's ready for the job.
Yeah, I know. All right. Have you gotten a ticket?
Had plenty for speeding. My driving wasn't too good when I was younger. I didn't know what the terminology mean. The roads are icy in Canada means.
I know.
So the S10, it wasn't a. Oof.
You're thinking the snow tires are going to take care of this, and I'm going to be fine no matter the conditions.
No, I had a few times, and why slam on the brakes when it's icy? Well, then you slide forever, hit somebody from behind, and the tape cassette went flying out and hit the window behind.
All right, last one. Have you sung karaoke?
Yeah, I have. A few times. At my friend's house.
What's the go-to?
In Canada. My go-to was Country Roads Take Me Home, which I know it's sung at the LCA.
Sing a little bit of it.
I can't. I can't. My voice is hard. Country roads take me home. We're going to sing this for you, too, for your last night. To a place I belong, West Virginia, Mountain Mama. John's going home, not soon enough.
Okay.
But yeah, I sing that, a couple others, but I was never very good at it, because then you know what usually happens.
That's not bad. I mean, that's,
I'm hoarse today. I've been having a few cigarettes this morning on the way over.
Yeah, I know.
You know, when you're doing it, though, because you've had too many, you actually think you sound better than you do. It's almost like we're in the shower.
Right.
And then you step back and you're like, oh my gosh. Or somebody the next day goes, You go, how was that? You think you're good. They go, it wasn't too good. And then somebody might have taken a video or something. Then you get the video, and then you're like, it's cringy. Where you know when you're watching a show and you have to turn it off, like that, like that. Okay. It's never as good as you think it is, ever.
All right, last one. Sushi. Where do you fall on sushi? Have you eaten sushi?
Yeah, I do like.
It's
sushi.
not my thing. I have great regard for people that have a palate for sushi, and I've done the California rolls, just the
Is it sashimi or something, right? The raw fish.
Yeah,
that's what I like the best.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have that, but if I have it once, I can't have it for another 3 weeks probably. I've gotten my fill with it, but yeah, sushi for sure.
Okay,
no problem.
All right. You've been swimming in the ocean?
Yeah, I have been reluctantly.
Have you swam with
reluctantly so
dolphins or anything like that?
My wife and I went to when we were still dating. So
when you did fun things,
the trip was way more exciting then than they are now. To the Cayman Islands, and my wife was a record-breaking swimmer at John Glenn High School. She could swim. Me, my ass like sinks. I'm like a weight.
Right.
So I put a life vest on.
No.
Oh, I had to.
No.
Yeah. Plus, I'd had a few.
You're embarrassing.
I had a few. I can't go out there.
Oh.
So I put the life vest on, but it was one of those like she got it for me.
You didn't have the floaty arm.
But it wasn't blown up.
You didn't have the floaty arms, did you?
Blow up. So now I'm in the Cayman Islands, and there's a bunch of these good-looking guys around, and she's enamored with the bartender. So I'm like trying to I got to be cool. I'm still trying to impress her. So we go swimming. And she's got me way out there, like way farther than I should ever be. I'm from Medicine, Alberta. The only lakes there are man-made lakes,
right?
And you don't swim in them,
right?
You know those paddle boats, where you get the you're paddling with your feet,
right?
That's what I'm on.
Right.
Okay. The only time I've been swimming is at the public pool. I'm way out there.
Like how? So you swam way out there and then had to get back?
Oh yeah, to the point where the reef was, I could see the darkness on the other side. Right.
Right.
Like what you see on a Saturday night. The other side was really dark, and I got really nervous. I'm like, I am like way out here. And I turned around. It was way too far out. And now I'm swimming back. My head's down because I just want to get in.
Right.
I look, and there's this big barracuda like right in front of me. And I'm scared of in my life, sharks,
perch,
bears,
bass,
cougars, anything that can eat me, I don't like. So I'm like hustling my ass to get back in.
There's so many lines there that I'm leaving alone.
I got back to the thing, not only because now it's wavy, I'm a bit seasick, okay?
Right.
And I'm exhausted.
Okay.
And I've had probably a mixture of about 3 or 4 drinks.
Yeah.
Right to the room, okay? Threw up about 3 times. So that was my experience. One of my few with being in the ocean.
The barracuda left you alone?
Yeah, it didn't come here, but it was just kind of hovering, staring at you.
Staring at
but
you,
when you
the,
see things in the water,
when
you see things in the water, they look way bigger than they actually are. So, but I was like, to me, listen, where I'm from, a pike is a dangerous fish.
Right.
So
teeth on a pike.
Now I've been in with my kids if we go down to Florida, but I don't go very far in. Yeah. I went a few times. We used to go to Easter with drapes all the time down in Florida where we went in too far, and the waves are bouncing, and all the wives are yelling at us and screaming at us to get back closer, which thank goodness they did. So me and the ocean don't mix very well.
Okay. Yeah. So you talked about me getting to the dark side. What I'm hoping to do is get to the light side, get to the bright side. Once I get done with this and I move away where we don't see each other on the regular basis that we do now. I mean, that's coming. Are you? You're preparing for that, right?
I am.
Yeah.
But for you just being completely obsessed with this. Is that what you're saying? Well, when you have nothing else to do, that's what's going to happen.
I know I'll be calling you all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
I'll hear glasses clinking in the background. Bartenders asking you what you want next. Where are you? Well, I can't say where you are because we're not allowed to say where you live. You're gonna have to get like a bodyguard.
Yeah, okay. Or a driver.
A driver would be good.
A driver would be good. All right, I think that's enough. Dear God, that's enough. Again, thanks to Belle Tire. That's it for Ozzy and Keats. We'll see you next time, everybody.